Thanks for joining me on this Panel TV. Today's topic, we'll be looking at the 2019 ballot, finalizing preparations. As you know, we've just got a few days, barely 4 days to the very D-Day where everyone will come out en masse to vote. And being that as it is, discussing this vital topic with me from my extreme left, I have the African Director of African Emancipation Movement and also the President of AFED, which is Association for Education and Development, Osagie Godsent Erunse. Thank you for coming, Osagie.
Good morning, Phil. My pleasure again. Thank you.
And next, I have the erudite and articulate political analyst, Neville Obakedo. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers at home.
And of course, I have a businessman, a politician, a political activist with me, and it's no one else but Larry Ogeba. Thank you for coming, Larry.
Thank you for having me here. Good morning, viewers.
Looking at what has been happening so far, the issues about the INEC offices burnt in Abia State at Isiala South local government area, to be precise, which occurred in the 2nd of February. And then a week later, the 9th of February, another occurred at Kwampan local government in Plateau State, giving us damages of PVCs, looking at the number together, which amounts to about 9,866 PVCs damaged to Inferno. Well, starting with you, Neville Obakedo, what do you take of this? Because some say that at this point where we are preparing for the D-Day, for the election, and the need for people or voters not to be disenfranchised, but this is happening. Linking that with the aspect of the president or presidency, even the president said it, that there are some politicians who want to scuttle the 2019 polls. Could this be what we are faced with?
Well, thank you for the question. My initial reaction to this is that those who fail to learn from history, they are condemned to repeating history. And we know that the political process, especially the electioneering process, is always laden with various forms of violence. It can be administrative violence, it can be political violence, it can be psychological violence, it can be spiritual violence. All kinds of violence go with electioneering processes. Recently, government always play jingles on television talking about hateful conduct and hateful speeches. All of these put together, they go with the electioneering process. And if Nigeria government or those who manage security in Nigeria, if they are wise people, they're supposed to know that this period, just like we saw in Congo Democratic Republic, recently before Tshisekedi was elected president, various INEC offices in, I cannot remember the exact name they called their electoral body. The warehouse where they kept their machines and everything, they were burnt. Material for about 12 out of 24 polling districts were destroyed. We have seen that in La Côte d'Ivoire. We have seen that in other countries in developing world. Election materials or electoral bodies, warehouses for keeping materials for election are deliberately be targeted. It's part of the violence that go with the electoral process. I want expected security agencies to be proactive by ensuring that they provide security for these materials so that they will not be destroyed. But now that that has happened, it is a sign to show that all is not well with the security of lives and property in Nigeria.
We look at the budget for the election, and we look at the money allotted for that, and this one is arising. Don't you see some irresponsibility on the part of the government?
If you say money has been allocated budgeted for this election, and maybe the money has been given because the election is just around the corner, and you now want to take the blame to the corridors of government, well, in a way you may be right, but in another way you are wrong, because as the name implies, Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC is independent, and it is empowered by law to liaise with security agencies to ensure that there is security. And as a matter of fact, part of the budget go to security.
But should it
to security agencies?
But should it foot drag? Because we expect that as non-sensitive materials are taken to INEC offices across local governments of the Federation, 744 local governments, that there should be a beef up of security presence.
Yes, I said just now that those who fail to learn from history, they are condemned to repeat history. And when I say so, I'm not always directing that statement at government officials, as in those in the executive arm of government alone. I'm directing it at other semi-branches of the executive that are supposed to carry out their responsibility. They are failed to do so. And when I say so, directly I'm accusing security agencies who are supposed to work with INEC to ensure that in every INEC facility across the country, where materials that will be used to conduct election on Saturday, presidential election and National Assembly, which is House of Rep and Senate, are protected. Their failure to do so, which led to the arson in Isialaugwa and in Plateau State, is a form of a vote of no confidence on the security of those areas, or the security agencies in those areas, because it is their responsibility, and I'm sure they will be adequately mobilized in terms of a financial transaction to be able to be alive to their responsibility. In any case, I'm not the spokesperson for either INEC or for the security agencies who fail to do the needful, or who are still going to carry out their responsibility between now and on Saturday.
Okay.
Because when you are talking about security concerning election, it is not only security on election day. It has to be security before, security during, and security after election.
Okay, thank you. Larry Okiva, what's your bite on this development?
Well, it goes a long way to show how prepared our so-called independent National Electoral Commission is. A situation whereby you made a budget and presented it to the National Assembly, and the presidency fought that this budget is passed. You made budget for security. You made budget to protect electoral materials. All of a sudden, we are discovering that electoral materials are being burnt, are being submitted, are being flooded, and so on and so forth. Then we should ask questions. Are we really ready for this election? Is INEC ready for this election? Is our security agencies ready for this election? Because for me, I think it is a preparation to rig election. These are all flimsy excuses. How are we sure that those ballot paper, those voters' cards that they say are damaged has not been cloned and given to some other people to use on that day of election?
That's an assumption?
Yes, it's an assumption. You see, in Nigeria, we live on assumption in Nigeria. There is nothing, things are not the way it is in Nigeria. People can tell you stories. My house got burnt, and probably he must have said his house ablaze on by himself, and he wants money from, maybe he's expecting money from somewhere. So we know what is going on today. That we are living in very precarious times. We are living in situations whereby we don't trust our people. I don't trust INEC. How can an election that we have been preparing for the past 4 years, 3.5 years, immediately we finished the election in 2015, and I started preparing for this one?
But if you remember vividly, I did say that even the presidency even spoke about some politicians trying to scuttle the process.
Of course.
Isn't this a beginning from that?
Look. Do you think the opposition would deliberately want to scuttle an election that they are very sure of winning? Do you think the opposition would deliberately scuttle an election that they know is already in their pocket? If the government comes out to say, yes, the politicians are ready to scuttle this election, believe you me, who controls the security agencies, who controls all the apparatus, power apparatus in this country, it goes a long way to tell us that our government is not ready. Our government doesn't even know what is going on. Our government doesn't even know that if government can come out to say, politicians, if the president comes out to say this, he should tell us who are those politicians, because he controls the security apparatus in this country. If you have proof that there are politicians trying to scuttle the election, arrest those politicians, take them to court, try them.
Okay, I pause.
But don't come out to say, you are just vaguely saying that there are politicians going to scuttle the election. It is a preparation to rig election, and we are ready for them.
Okay, let me pause you there. We look at the very sensitive and critical challenge we're having. Now, just barely 4 days, and we have this in our hands, Osagie. Now, we have a situation where the PVCs that were damaged in Abia, for instance, could number to 2,979, and then that damaged in Jos, we have about 5,987, putting a total figure to almost 10,000, about 9,866. Now, the INEC leadership did say that there's going to be a register opened for people to raise complaints and get their names identified, and then within a short period of time before the election, they are going to provide them with PVCs. How feasible is that?
Let me begin by saying that it will be sad if we continue to allow flimsy excuse for things to deteriorate. You know, if you look at it closely, it's not about giving room for people to come and register. You need to look at the electorate confidence in the system. You know, if you look at it closely, you notice that this election is very sensitive to Nigerians. This is one election where you've had a lot of Nigerians that are ready to exercise their franchise. Before now, there have been speculations on security issues. One of the reasons why people don't always come out to vote. There have been also speculation on the credibility of the electoral system. You know, and you cannot tell people not to suspect a system when things begin to happen that doesn't really make sense. Things especially that are avoidable. Okay? Just 2 weeks or so to election, we are all seeing this to our face. You know, and what do you expect? My concern is this might end up discouraging voters. Because even if at the end of the day you say there's a measure put in place, how many voters will summon the courage to want to go through another rigor, considering what you went through to make sure you have your PVC?
But is it not good enough to trust the process? Is it not good enough to trust the leadership? If they say that they can provide such PVCs within an ample opportunity of time?
That trust would have been better if this incident was prevented. See, one of the things I want to say is, for everything that happens in this country, we as voters and electorate have reasons to suspect over desperate politicians. Because I always like to take our mind back to history. What has not happened in our present nation? You know, and if you go back memory lane a little bit, at the time, you know, a section of a certain Ministry of Education was burnt because the governor was being investigated on certain bits. At the time, we had an issue where it was said that it was flawed incident, you know, in a certain state, taking away some people's PVC. I know quite a number of people that have been differentialized today because of that. Okay, at the time, we are hearing about the underage voting. You know, even in Kano, in the just concluded local government election a few months ago in Kano. You know, so what I mean is, if you go down memory lane, you notice that there are things that happen that make people lost confidence in the credibility of the electoral process. This is one of them.
Ladogipa just said that could be a way of rigging the process. Do you also share in that thought?
Yes, I share that thought. Because Nigerian politicians have no limit in their desperation. I share that thought. I believe that possibly, although it's a speculations, there could be a sabotage. There could be a plot. Who knows who? That's the reason why if the president says there are some politicians planning this, we're against it. He should fish out those people and persecute them. You know, another thing I want to say quickly is this. Violence don't just happen in election. There are things that breed the ground for violence. And this is one of such. Because when people start losing confidence in the system and start pointing accusing fingers, do you know that that issue that happens is not something that will just pass away? People have it in their record. A lot of political parties have really recorded it, and there are a lot of rumors making around. Whether it is right or not, should the security agencies and the INEC officials be more proactive in protecting your materials in just about 2-3 weeks to election? You know, it's sad.
Okay.
Because it means that the electoral buildings or the INEC buildings still lack security, adequate security. For a nation that budgeted a huge amount in security issue as regarding this election.
Okay, thank you.
So it's worrisome, really.
Neville Obakado, I don't know where you're going to find a handle to come out from this, but let's look at this aspect. The INEC saying that they are going to ensure that the PVCs are provided and a good opportunity before the election. Do you see possibility of carrying that out?
Well, it is a duty of INEC to provide the electorate with voting materials, starting with the permanent voters card. If INEC is saying that it will have a way of finding replacement for PVCs that will be destroyed, they are going to do that within the details of the legal framework that guides electoral conduct, and I'm sure they will be able to deliver on that.
So there's reason to give them benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when we talk about security of an election or insecurity in an election, we should not. We should be mindful of the fact that from the First Republic, Second Republic, and this Stanford Republic, we have seen issues of insecurity, and insecurity could be as a result of violence, could be as a result of various reasons, and the reasons for insecurity of violence in Edo State may be different from that of the Delta State.
You are a political analyst. Yes, you are a political analyst. I know you are driving your point home, but
yes,
let's quickly dwell on this too. You are a political analyst,
yes,
and you could also agree that issues of violence could also arise from lack of confidence in the government.
Yes,
and now
I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yes. Now, I will start by saying that as recent as 2016, there was a governorship election in Edo State. Before the governorship election was conducted in September, there was a shift in that election. What was the reason? Because according to those that are saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that there was safety of lives and property, including INEC property and voting materials, they saw the need for the postponement to avoid a breakdown of law and order, or to make sure that the violence that they got information was going to be unleashed on Edo State.
But others saw it differently. Others saw it differently.
Yes, yes.
They saw it as a way to rig the process.
Yes. Others saw it differently.
Okay.
Now, in 2015, the general election that was conducted, before this one that will be conducted in 2019, the election was shifted. Opposition won that election. That is, President Muhammadu Buhari of APC won that election. I don't know whether opposition viewed it differently, but the reason that was given was because of threat to that electoral process.
So it has been a historical practice.
Yes. Now, in Delta State, neighboring Delta State, which used to be part of old Midwestern State, with Edo State, when elections were pending, election cases were pending before tribunal, what do you call it, INEC offices, where they house material for that election in the particular local government also, they set ablaze. We have seen that in other places, whether Benue State, whether Taraba State. The list is long of the violence that will be perpetrated in the electoral process, which is not restricted to any political dispensation. It is not restricted to we cannot restrict it to Obasanjo's period, which was a PDP government. We cannot restrict it to Yaradua Jonathan period, which was a PDP government. And right now, there is no evidence to show that the ruling party is in the forefront of the violence that will be perpetrated in these two places. Okay, that are reference point right now. Let me anchor my argument. Now the issue is this, that before this crisis in Plateau State, what has been the kind of security situation in Plateau? Plateau for a very long time been a volatile place.
Yes, I get.
There are some infiltration. There are some infiltration of Islamic movement.
Okay, thank you.
In that area, who do not want election to take place. So if they go to a place and set it up, you cannot say it's PDP that did it. You can't say it's APC that did it.
Thank you.
You cannot point the finger.
You still have the floor. Let's look at what Osagie also said.
Yeah.
It's still linking to a lack of trust.
Yes, I'm coming to the issue of trust. Yes, I'm coming to the issue of trust.
And something happened yesterday in Ogun State, precisely, particularly at MK Abiola's stadium, when the APC presidential rally took place, and it was pelted with stones. Isn't that also a link of lack of confidence?
Well, information at my disposal concerning what happened in Ogun State. It's not a pari material with the issue of violence that have been brought to this discourse. Because the issue of violence that have been brought to this discourse is the issue of election materials where they are housed in the name of INEC. They have been targeted, and we have identified 2 places, one in Southeast and one in North Central. What happened in Ogun State? You made mention of APC rally.
Presidential rally.
Yes, APC rally. Let me just say rally because it's not only presidential rally. There's a National Assembly election there on Saturday. Okay, and after that, there will be governorship election. So now, the issue is this. When in the electionary process, there's what we call intra-party conflict. Intra-party conflict, that's conflict within the party. There's also what we call inter-party conflict.
Are you looking at the gubernatorial
yes, I'm coming to that. Yes, I'm coming to that.
The primaries.
Because at the point that they started hauling maybe stones, sachet water towards the stadium or inside the stadium, as the case may be, was according to a report when the president made a statement that in the presidential election you can vote for APC, but in the governorship election, you vote for candidate of your choice.
Can you imagine that?
Now, it is a pointer to the fact that there have been a deepened intra-party, that is APC crisis in Ogun State.
Okay,
that does not have anything to do with insecurity in this election.
Okay, I pause you there. I'll come back to you. Now, Larry Ogeba, you've been following this development.
Yes.
You said, of course, it can be linked.
Very, very. Let me tell you something. You see, they say little drops of water makes a large ocean. Let me tell you, the crisis in what we saw happened in Ogun State yesterday can escalate. Those people throwing those stones, those people throwing those sachet waters at the president, they can leave that venue, attack people on the street, kill people because they are still vexed, and it will escalate. It will become a problem. When you hear people are killing people in Abeokuta, it goes to Ijebu-Ode and other major cities in Ogun State. You are a political terrorist, Neville, and empirically, or if you've done a lot of research, you will discover that this, when A is equals to A, or A plus A is A square, then A plus A must
you are taking us to arithmetic.
No, what I'm going to say is necessary.
They do say that arithmetic is in politics.
That's what you are just unveiling. What I'm trying to tell Neville is that he's trying to disassociate electoral violence and the campaign violence we are seeing yesterday in APC. Now, if these people now start fighting amongst themselves, in-house, it's like you are fighting with your wife in your house, and then your wife runs out. In the process of trying to hit your head, he hits another man's head. The other wife comes out and says, "You want to kill my husband?" He hits your own head. The matter escalates.
But how do we nip this?
Pardon?
How do we nip this in the bud? Because the whole essence of this
is the essence is that it should not say that this crisis yesterday. It should not say that the violence we saw yesterday in APC rally should not be associated with the electoral violence. That is the beginning. Are we sure that APC is not going to try to use that one as an excuse to postpone the election?
That's an assumption. That's an assumption.
No, don't say assumption. I'm a political analyst. I'm a political analyst. So we know what is happening. Are we sure that today is Tuesday? Are we sure election was postponed in 2016? Gubernatorial election was postponed. A day to election in Edo State. A day to election. I contested election in 2015. Election was postponed 2 days to election. My own election. In the process of election was suspended.
Okay.
I'm coming. What I'm trying to do is that don't tell me it's an assumption. I'm talking, he is a political scientist, we are all educated. I'm talking empirically here. I'm talking from experience. That these things are all, if you are not careful, these are programmed excuses that they may make reference to and say, yes, we are not very sure of what is happening in Ogun. They will not bring PDP in. PDP has their problem in Ogun. We cannot guarantee safety. In Plateau, electoral materials are being burnt. So we want to make sure that the election goes, hitch-free. So we are suspending election.
It could escalate. So
of course,
there's need to
and are we sure that
yes.
the government is not a part and parcel of this problem?
No. I'll take some of your time and put it in the pocket. When it's time, I give it back to you. But let me come to you, Osagie Godsend. Now, yes. Why you bring that attention to us? Let's look at also the aspect of the cancelled visit by the former U.S. President Bill Clinton. We expected that he will be here so that the peace agreement signing tomorrow, the ceremony would take off. And just now, the 42 political parties are saying that they may take a walk out on that ceremony based on the fact that they have some conditions that they want the government to meet before they do the signing. But all of this is emanating few days to 2019.
I started by saying that violence don't just happen. It is a build-up, okay? And I don't know if you're also aware that the former president of the United States have also cancelled his visit because there's this speculation.
Yes, that is what I said.
All right, there are speculations that it could be
politically motivated
or interpreted, But I need us to know that at the end of the day, we have a nation. Because in the name of politicking, we should not destroy the sanity of our nation. Now, let me just bring our attention to something. Do you notice that?
But don't you also see don't you also see the interference as also giving a huge blow to our democracy?
Yes, of course it is. But part of where I'm driving to is that violence don't just happen. Now I was going to draw attention to something. If you look at the security area, you'll notice that quite recently there have been reduction in herdsmen crisis. There have been reduction.
Which is laudable?
Now, it's laudable, but it's election time. You see, we give room for suspicion. And at the end of the day, we want to say, why would the electorate or the ordinary citizen of Nigeria suspect? We give room for, just look at the reason why Bill Clinton cancelled his trip to Nigeria. Because of politicians that will hijack the process and misinterpret the whole thing. And possibly the threat of some political parties aspirants to boycott the process. Now, what I'm trying to say is that electoral violence is already breeding. There's already a build-up. For me, personally, what happened in Ogun State, I want to see it as beyond a party thing. I want to see it as the voice of Nigerians saying that we are tired of a failed government.
I'll come back to you. I will always come back to you. All right.
Voice of Nigerians.
Okay, pause. And Neville Bakedo. Now, how do you react to this? The cancelled visit of former President Bill Clinton of USA and the whole 42 political parties taking a drawback from signing the peace agreement as they threatened to do?
Well, first and foremost, I don't know what is the purpose for peace agreement. I don't know the reason why they call politicians or leading aspirants or leading candidates to come and sign peace agreement. Because on election day, President Muhammadu Buhari will be in Katsina State in his polling unit. Former Vice President and PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar will be in his own polling unit in Adamawa State. If there is violence here in Edo, is it because Atiku Abubakar, if it is a violence that is associated or originated from PDP, Is it because Atiku Abubakar asked his supporters here to cause violence? The answer is no. If there is violence here in Edo, and the origin is traceable to APC supporters, is it because the president asked them to go and unleash violence on the people? The answer is no. The law, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Electoral Act, they have defined offenses that are punishable under the law during election. If you check section 124 up to 130, you will see all kinds of offenses, including violence during election, that are punishable under the law. Then we have criminal law. There's the criminal code, and violence that are criminal in the electoral process are also captured in this criminal code. It now behooves on the security agencies not to connive with politicians to scuttle the process of election, which can lead to violence.
Yes.
Now, that is on one aspect. It behooves on the security agencies not to connive with community leaders, traditional rulers, political leaders, to subvert the process, which can ignite violence.
Now, this is only one of the conditions that the 42 political parties are putting on.
Yes. If Bill Clinton, former president of the United States, was to come to Nigeria because of maybe America's interest in Nigerian electionary process, and they say they want to help to coordinate the signing of a peace agreement.
Is there anything wrong there?
There's nothing wrong in it. And if, on the basis of intelligent information at their disposal, because a former president of America cannot come to Nigeria without FBI information, without DSS information about his movement and what is likely to come and meet here. And they say, you are advised to stay away from Nigeria, and he cancels the trip. He cannot just wake up and say, I'm cancelling my trip to Nigeria.
Probably linked to a statement credited to Nasir El-Rufai. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know, I've not said so. There must be a reason why, and that reason cannot be too far from issue of his own security and personal safety.
Oh no, you talk about reason. Even on the headlines, on the headlines, there were issues about this, and the U.S. government not trying to tow a position in favor of Atiku, as said by some politicians. Still on the headlines. So
no,
it could also be linking majorly on not politically motivating the entire process.
You see, my senior brother, my friend, I don't know any other adjective I can use to qualify him because me, I'll be part of their family for a very long time, for more than 20 years.
Thank you very much.
So I know the encouragement that they are giving me when I was a student, and up till now, I know the goodwill I enjoy from all of them.
That doesn't stop you from being objective.
Yeah, we are talking about objectivity here now.
He's trying to say something. Watch.
Now, he made a statement that the opposition is coasting home victory in this election. Can you determine the outcome of an election when the election has not been conducted? If the election is conducted, if you say you believe that your party will win the election, maybe because of opinion poll does not translate to vote proper. Let the election be conducted. If PDP wins the election, they will be installed as winner of the election. All Nigeria will celebrate them. If APC comes back to power, they will also be celebrated for the victory. No man can sit down and say that we are winning this election.
Okay,
it may be politically expedient.
We have to stop now. Let me let him anchor his point.
No.
Now, let the election be conducted. From the various units, the result will be collated, and with the winners of this election, both presidential and national assembly, will be known.
Yes,
I
did make mention of the 42 political parties.
Yes.
And they brought some conditions, like their party agents being involved being there in
Yes.
collation
Yes.
from the polling units to the constituency level
Yeah.
to ensure that there is no manipulation.
Yeah.
And that immediately the results are collated at the polling unit. It should be publicly announced and pasted on the wall as the Electoral Act has it,
Yes.
among other conditions. Don't you see this as what should really make the electoral polls transparent?
When you talk about, I deliberately made mention of the Constitution and the Electoral Act some few minutes ago when I said they constitute the legal framework that guide the electoral process. No person, no political party, no leader, no agency can willfully push away the provisions of the Constitution. No political party, no person, no agency of government can willfully push away the provisions of an act.
So you are sure this will count?
Yes, if the Electoral Act says that when results have been counted, they are declared, they are announced publicly, the agents will sign, and then the result will be pasted on the wall.
And even accreditation of voters. Accreditation of voters should be before party agents.
Yes, I expect that the agents of each of the political party should be aware of this regulation, and that where INEC fail to do the needful concerning this provision, they can raise eyebrow.
Okay, thank you.
That is that. Lastly, sir, on the issue of violence, there's what we call spontaneous violence. A man makes a statement. The president and commander-in-chief of a country made a statement that vote for the presidency, vote APC, the governorship, vote
your
social party, yes, or vote your conscience. And the people who are members of APC who were there, they were not happy with that statement. They are aware that there have been crisis in APC.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You've anchored your point enough.
And they
You've anchored your point enough because we have to share this time among you. We have to share this time among you.
To ensure that that problem is resolved instead of the show of shame that happened at that stadium.
Okay.
Now, the issue of some persons being investigated, the governor being investigated, Ministry of Education was set ablaze. I take exception to that statement. One, because I remember the person that was governor of Edo State when the Ministry of Education was born. A panel was set up of inquiry. I expect that my co-discussor that should be talking of the white paper should be made public about what happened in that place.
Okay, thank
and
you.
Not make it reference, not make allusion to the fact that the government have gone there to say that.
I know you have some reactions in that light.
Yeah, what I want to quickly debunk is that I said that I'm just.
You are confident that
claiming. It's like I'm claiming. I'm not claiming. You have been in the political system of this country. You were born and bred here. We are all born and bred here. We have all seen the political trends in other countries, and we follow it. Today in Nigeria, look. I don't want to start talking as if we are campaigning. But the truth of the matter is, in the pre-2015 election, APC was opposition party in this country. And we saw what the people, Nigerians, the voters, already made up their mind before the election who they are going to vote for. APC was very sure. They were very confident. They went all over the world claiming victory, even before victory. Now, we are in the same situation today. We are saying, you see, Nigerians are no more foolish. Nigerians are wiser. We thank God to mobile technology, mobile phone. People, even the oldest woman in the village will have a mobile phone, talking to his children or her children all over the world. Let me tell you something. Nigerians are so aware that whatever the ruling party may be planning, Nigerians are ready to defend their vote. Mark it. It is not a matter of saying one should not be so confident of the opposition winning the election. No, the opposition is not even saying we must win. But we are saying, the opposition are saying, let the people's vote count. It's as simple as that.
Thank you. So just join us this morning on ITV.
So it's not a matter of being confident or being boastful.
Thank you. The topic before us, as is on the screen, is on the 2019 ballot, which is just a few days coming and is finalizing preparations. I've been discussing with Larry Ogieva and, of course, Nebilo Bakedo and Osagie Godsend. Well, looking at the twist of the 42 political parties giving conditions that must be met, and the aspect where they also made mention of the fact that few hours to the election, like what was witnessed in Osun, where some political opposition party leaders are being kind of arrested, that shouldn't be seen playing out in the 2019 ballot. What are your thoughts in this line?
Let me quickly say that, you see, I want to say that every credible Nigerian should realize that we are where we are today because of the class of 60. I call them the class of 60. For me, if as a Nigerian, at this point of our history, you are pretending not to know what is happening in this country, it's quite sad. It's quite sad. I said that to make a point. The point is, if 42 political parties are coming out to reinstate what is already in the constitution, does that not tell you something? That there is already lost in the confidence of the government of the day to even have respect and regard for the constitution, like we have seen in different occasions.
But if some opposition politicians are acting in a manner that jeopardizes the peace,
of course they should go in for
can they be arrested?
Yes, they can. Yes. There's no it is Nigeria. It is not about APC or PDP. For me, APC or PDP should leave Nigeria alone. We need freedom from these parties. We need to check another.
No. This is not a platform. Listen, this is not a platform to campaign for a party. Just the objective goes straight to the point.
What I'm trying to say is that it is about time we save this nation. Because it's not about, now, if anybody is guilty of anything, let them go in for it. But no government should be seen as a government that is trying to victimize some people. Now, let me give you what happened recently. You know, when the American president and some other international bodies intervened and said, hey, you know, we should be careful how we handle our CJN, you know, and all of that. Because of the saga that happened some few months ago. There was a terrible reaction, which was a little bit funny. Then the next thing you see was an Islamic group joined in and reacted. Then, recently, these world powers have also said that if anybody is caught manipulating or indicted as ringing the election, they will be withdrawn visa. The whole world is watching. Before any election, there is what we call political tone. Okay. We are all aware of the political tone.
Yes.
The political tone is that Nigeria are tired of oppression and dictatorial rule.
We are running off.
Freedom.
We are running off. Thank you. We are running off. Nebilo Bakedo, we are running off. We are running off. Now, let me quickly take your mind to the argument by some that if at all there has to be a deployment of policemen or commissioners of police, it should be done in a way that is not going to motivate politically. Like some argument was on the former security aide to the APC chieftain, Ahmed Tinubu, who was recently taken to Kwara State as the commissioner of police. What do you see that as a political analyst?
Well, let me say that since you said we are finalizing this discussion, that any form of violence that will erode the confidence of the electorate in the electoral process should be discouraged and should be condemned. The electorate should be given the opportunity freely to determine who becomes the leader of their state, their society. In Nigeria, as it relates to 2019, Nigeria should be given the opportunity to determine who becomes the president, who goes to the National Assembly, as the case may be, without any form of interference or violence, as the case may be. Now, on the issue of posting a former aide to Kwara State, that is normal police routine posting. It's normal police routine posting. And maybe you would have called the police PRO to come and defend this posting. Because it is only in Nigeria here that
this guy is a politician.
When anybody does something that you see any relationship with a political leader, people will start raising eyebrow. Just like we have discussed the issue of Amina here, that Amina was acquitted by the former ruling party, Ito INEC, and she was there 2011, 2015. Now they just appointed her as a head of logistics for where they are going to collect results. They said they should remove her, and she's not returning result from unit, from ward, from local government, from state. The result of election in this state, presidential election, will be announced by the vice chancellor of the University of Benin. So is it Amina? He will take the result to Abuja to announce.
Okay.
Is it Amina that will not collect the result from the VC and say, I want to change the result to reflect Buhari's party?
Okay,
the answer is no. The point I'm driving at is this. The commissioner of police is just to ensure security. Is he going to vote in Kwara State? Are policemen posted to Kwara State? Are they going to vote in Kwara State?
All right, thank you.
They are not going to vote. If I were to be the president or the police high command, if they have the fear that because it was Tinubu's aide, when he's not a card-carrying member of any political party, if I were to be inspector of police, I will remove him and put another person there.
And let the people of
Kwara, let the people of Kwara State,
so that they can have some transparency.
The people of Kwara should determine who will be their president.
Thank you. Thank you, Nebel. Thank you, Nebel. In 1 minute, Larry Ogeva, as we round off in 1 minute, what are your projections towards having a free and fair election come Saturday?
Well, the security agencies should live above board. INEC is the center of this.
You said that twice.
Yes, I will repeat even 5 or 100 times. INEC is the center of all this discussion and what's going on today. INEC should be above board.
Thank you.
You see, money, when you get money, when people come, politicians come and give you money, and you take that money and truncate somebody's destiny or future, or the future of this country, you truncate the future of this country, the money, your children will come and suffer.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I want to appeal to the electorate. Don't let 2,000 naira, 5,000 naira, change your conscience.
Thank you.
Let
vote your conscience.
Any attempt to rig this election, what is currently playing out in Venezuela may happen in Nigeria.
It's going to happen.
I want to say categorically clear that every viewers at home, if you don't vote, you are part of the problem. Because there's a level of voting that cannot be manipulated.
Yes.
The best thing to do now is not just to pray, is to go out there on Saturday, exercise your franchise, and peacefully wait to defend your vote. This is the time to take back our nation.
Thank you. Nebel Bakedo, I think you've made your conclusion, or in 5 seconds, can you do that?
Yesterday, the governor of the state organized a stakeholders security meeting.
I don't think that's a conclusion.
Where he said that the people of Edo State is like a message to all Nigerians.
All right.
That they should conduct themselves within the confines of the law concerning this election. Okay. That message of the governor to all the stakeholders is my message to all Nigerians.
All right,
to go and exercise their franchise without fear.
Thank you.
Well,
it's been great, and as this morning on the ITV on 2019 ballot, finalizing the preparations. We'll take a short break, and it's still this morning on ITV. Don't you go away.